Listen up, recruit. Salome is trying to sacrifice the entire hotel to God knows what. Our boy Adrian got in, but we haven't heard from him in a coon's age. He's likely got his hands full trying to save who he can while also trying to disrupt her spell. I've placed a portal on the roof to help him get people out, but it won't be open forever. For now, all we can do is watch.
Hey, it works. That's the first time I've done an intro video. Usually I just click go and it goes, and it's really without any fanfare or anything. But yeah, so I'm joined this week by Madeline and Nick, who I'm kind of excited for the fact that I actually don't know you guys at all. And I like meeting new people. I wonder who else is out there. Sometimes I'll stay up late at night and wonder who else is out there that I don't know who is a cool comic person. So glad you guys both reached out to me. Let me ask you that. Was it just through, because I stream once in a while and do promo shows? Is that, or am I like on a list people pass around? Do you guys know, how did you reach out to me?
I thought you were you used to be affiliated with somebody else, I thought. I'm not sure. Or maybe I had found you and then reached out to you. I don't remember. Because sometimes I'll do searches through social media of comic podcasts and go see if you're, still exist. Because a lot of the podcasts have gone bye-bye. And, see how current you are and see what's going on. And then I just, reach out and say like, hey.
Cool. So yeah, you were just like researching straight up just comic podcasts and reaching out to anyone and everyone. Yeah. Cause I have a weekly show called The Creative Block, but we don't usually do promo on that one. Was that the one you might have found me through?
I think it was. Yeah. I think it was that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That one's like a little bigger than this show's called the NOODGE. And I've been trying to get that name to stick, but who even knows? But Nick, what about you?
So for me, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a post David Brink who did Perfect 10. He put out, asking, hey, who can I come on and talk about my comic book? And someone had commented a list of people, and I think you were on there.
Cool. So.
Yeah,
I replied to him directly too, but he was busy on the Tuesday that we were maybe going to do it. So I still haven't chatted with him, but he's definitely like, he and I move in similar circles. We know who each other are and everything.
Yeah. His book looks really interesting. He's on issue 6, I think, which is, that's an impressive number to get to. And
you're doing it. So
issue.
Yeah, he's got a fully collected trade now, or like the full arc or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, and I love what he called it, the Perfection Collection.
Because it's Perfect 10.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh.
Yeah. So these are 2 Kickstarter books. I had a Kickstarter too, but my Kickstarter ended. It was on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and the Kickstarter ended, and now it's just on Indiegogo. So mine is a Hotel Story, and then Nick has Roy Beckwith with The Cursed Continent, and Madeline has Boston Metaphysical Society. Ooh, it just went up a little bit. That was not from us. That was, I don't want to claim it yet, but if it does go up, it's just the NOODGE. It's just like that's
okay.
It's actually a wrestling move. It's where you go, boom, you've been hit with the NOODGE, but it's a good thing because you get your campaign to go up a little bit.
I don't remember that term. For a long time ago, there was a TV show that essentially it was a game show where people were trying to become professional wrestlers, and so they would go through all the training, and every week one of them, it was a Survivor kind of thing, would weed them out, and it was really interesting watching how it was all constructed, and the athleticism involved, of course, is amazing. And anyway, that's off topic, but
there's a huge overlap of pro wrestling and comics. And I'm a little bit of a poser. I don't know even too much about pro wrestling. I just know everyone loves it. But you know what it kind of reminds me of, just from afar looking at it? It's American comics, like different than manga even, but pro wrestling has like these like overlapping narratives of like guest stars coming in and alliances and breakdowns, and it's like very American comics. Like this week, these two have teamed up, and then the next week they're like, there's a betrayal and they're fighting again. Kind of like almost like soap opera, but
It
then
is a
it's
soap
like,
opera.
yeah.
It's
And that's like, yeah, the same way like X-Men is like that, and even Spider-Man and stuff.
I think the South Park did an episode about all the kids started doing a pro wrestling thing, and they
Yeah.
that it was all about the drama, and they would like not even fight most of the time. They would just like shout at each other, and
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, wrestling is like still in the news, but I'm not following it. But I see like they're all like, I don't know, they're saying it changed ownership and people are complaining and it's like losing some viewership. There was some betrayal. Oh, and they say Trump is going to give the medal of whatever, the presidential award, to like John Cena or something, and people are like wondering about that and everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was on wrestling, whatever.
oh yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
right. There's
Yeah,
that
well, he was-
video. Yeah.
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 He
Hit
threw
him with
someone
the
He's
on
one
his
of
chair
the
or
few
whatever.
pro wrestlers that can actually act.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
So
can, actually. No.
yeah. Madeline, we were talking a little bit behind the scenes, and you said you bought a property recently that has an apple orchard on it. Is this true?
Yeah, we for those who get my newsletter and follow me on social media, you'll know I lived in California, well, not all my adult life, a big chunk of it. I'm originally a Californian, but my husband and we just recently moved up to Oregon, and it has a small apple orchard. The previous owner was essentially a master gardener. I will not be able to do what he did. That's just impossible. But he has a small orchard that is primarily cider apples, because he was really big into making apple cider, which we are not. But by the way, cider apples do make really good eating apples, because we've tried them. But we had so many apples, and we had literally just moved up here. I think we were here maybe 4 days, and I was able to contact, they're called Salem Harvest. And what they do is they're volunteers. They come out, they pick produce from small farms and backyards, and then it's distributed to local food banks and shelters. And so I said, this is a great thing. Let's do that. And so they came out and they ended up picking over 800 pounds of apples.
Wow.
That's great, because then they kind of go to waste if you don't do that.
I hate food going to waste. And we also had some pumpkins and tomatoes that were left over when they were here. So I just said, take those too, because what they do is some volunteers are families in need who they work on the main thing, which is the apples. They get to take some of that home. And then if there's anything else, like I had, pumpkins and tomatoes and asparagus, I said, just go for it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, everything went to happy homes, and which is great, because who wants to waste fresh produce? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So now we're on their list. So I'm sure this is something we're gonna do every year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you mentioned your newsletter. If you have the YouTube open, or you can put it in here in the private comments, I think you can comment. But if you want to give me the link to your newsletter, I can.
I can probably send that to you through Twitter, because I'm not. Oh, I can do it in the private chat. Hang on.
Yeah. Or Twitter would work too. But
Yeah. Let me.
Were you gonna say something, Nick, while we do this?
Yeah, I think it's really cool to have that program now. I'm wondering if I have any of that in my area, because it's not a huge apricot tree, but most of the years, we'll actually pick it. Out here in Utah, where I'm at, we tend to get either an early frost or a late frost, and one will kill peach trees, like just make it so it doesn't have fruit, or and then the other one will, stunt the apricots. So every year you have one or the other, and I see a lot of them like in people's backyards, just like rotting, and wasps just eating them.
Yeah, I know. It's like there's a whole ecosystem of what happens to like a layer of rot on the ground near the trees that if you're not doing it stuff with the apples.
Oh yeah.
But that's like so there's an apple tree right next to my house. It's the lot next to my house is empty and there's one apple tree in it. And so I'll pick like, well, actually now I'm testing keto diet, so I'm not eating apples anymore. But I was eating an apple a day because of the saying. Don't they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away or whatever?
And it rhymes, so it's true. So
yeah. And I was like, I believe this so much. It's so good. But yeah, and then there's deer everywhere where I live, just like city deer. It's like a small town, but there's deer everywhere. So the deer eat the apples, and then I eat the apples. Some of my neighbors eat the apples. We are all eating it, but there's still like a bunch of apples, and a bunch of them just fall, and they actually don't even stink, but they like rot, and then like beetles eat them, birds eat them, and I don't know if they like you have to watch out for them falling and then sprouting new apple trees. I know with cherry trees around you have to watch out for that because they're almost like weeds. Cherry trees.
oh really?
Near other cherry trees where they pop up and you got to rip them out because you don't want like a million cherry trees and it usually got to like control it. But the thing around here that they talk about too a little bit, I want to ask you about, Madeline, is I think that the tree near me, the apple tree, it like spawns so many apples that it almost triggers like an HP Lovecraft thing when you look at it, or like looks like a version. It looks kind of gross because there's apples everywhere. It almost looks like a photo of a medical disease. You're like, something's wrong. It looks like cancerous. And I think sometimes trees get grafted or like cloned or like, they make them deliberately so they will produce more fruit. And then like this happens with cherry trees too, because my buddy was doing this. So he's grafting them to make more and more cherries, but he kind of went too far. And there was one that makes so many cherries that they just clump up. It becomes this giant clump of cherries and they're all next to each other. So they can't air out. So they all immediately rot. So you have to eat them extra fast or else they're rotting. And then weird stuff is like, worms are getting in there and wasps and all this kind of weird stuff. So do you know if your trees are like what their deal is with grafting and cloning and everything?
Well, we don't graft or clone. And this is what I've learned. One of the things that the previous owner told us is that we needed to thin out the apples. Otherwise there are just too many and it breaks the branches and they can't get big. And we did thin them out. But one thing we did learn is that we didn't thin them out enough.
Yeah.
And then that way there's more space. He also sprayed regularly during the season to keep pests and other things away. And we haven't figured out yet how we're going to manage that because that's kind of out of our skill set.
And it's a lot of work too. If it's a whole orchard, you got to spray. It's a tremendous
amount of work. And, we do have other things we want to do besides take care of apples. So we're working out ways to make this work. But one of the main things was to get to thin them out, and you have to prune them back. There's a bunch of stuff, and the wasp thing is real. And that's what we also have fig trees, which is new to me. I've never been a fig person, but man, those wasps love figs. So you really have to be careful. Make sure you have gloves on or these suckers will get you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something with figs. I wish I kind of knew all the facts, but it's like every fig. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is true. Every fig has like one dead wasp in the middle of it because that's part of their growing process. They're like symbiotic with the wasps. So wasps like climb into the middle, like die and rot, and that like becomes the core of the fig is like some weird thing. So you guys can Google that, chat, or anyone is skeptical because when I lived in Oregon, there was a fig tree on my property there, and I would eat those every day. And I got grossed out when I heard that it's just part of how figs grow is they work with the wasps, which is weird. But I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that looks true. I just looked it up. It looks like
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Which trips me out, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, the world is crazy. And wasps, the other thing is like we say wasp and you're like, oh, like bees, but way worse. And yeah, like wasps, I guess a bunch of them are super annoying, but they're like, because I had a wasp nest on my property here, and it was right on the line with the neighbor, and the neighbor wanted to take it out, and I was like, okay, I guess if you want to, then we have to. I'm not going to stop you. But I was googling. I was like, I'm going to leave it because I Google it, and they're like, yeah, wasps are good for pollination, and they're like pretty. They're not terrible or whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think. There was some times where you don't. Obviously, if you just have like kids playing, which is what the neighbor did have that nearby ish. So, but yeah. So anyway, wasps, they kind of get a bad rap a little bit, but honeybees they're just the nicest, most lovable guys, and bumblebees too. Honeybees and bumblebees. I'm pretty sure they like don't sting. I guess as soon as I say that, like someone.
Yeah, they'll die if they sting, so they will only do it if it really is going to benefit their whole hive.
Yeah. And then I think yellow jackets, maybe they are the ones that are nobody likes.
Those are nasty, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no maybe they help with pollination, but yeah, they're more like get out of here.
I heard wasps don't. That's what I heard. Is that wasps like pollinate wrong? So it doesn't work? Like
really? Well, that would be.
I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, that could be anti-wasp propaganda, or it could be true. I know wasps have they don't have barbed tails like you were saying with bees, so they can sting multiple times.
Yeah.
Bees only sting once. Yeah, and it sticks. It sticks, and it keeps pumping venom in like the abdomen or whatever.
That's why it itches and it like
you got to like
really bad.
Get it out of there, yeah.
I hear that put a penny on it, but that's only when they were copper. So are they still copper? Do they have copper coating? I don't know. I hear the copper will like pull it.
They probably just have a copper coating, or is that like an urban legend or something?
That could also be, it could be that. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm inclined to believe that one though. I like whatever, like the folk remedies and stuff.
Yeah. Even if it's just I can't think of the term for some reason. I know it, but just you thinking it is going to work makes it work. Placebo effect.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to just think that it works.
Yeah. So we do have a nice little audience here. Right. So 8 or 9 people. Popping Rico. Wasps are my enemy, especially when they make their mud nests outside my window.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah. Oh, because they will. That was the thing, is they'll mess with like the structure of houses and stuff because they'll.
Oh wow.
Like that's paper wasps, I think specifically, because they'll like eat wood and shit, like termites, kind of, or whatever.
So see, and here you were worried we wouldn't have tangents to talk about, and
I know. I was Chad. I was telling him, I was like, we can't just talk about the comics and we haven't even talked about the comics yet. We'll do that right now, but. Yeah, I was like, we got to talk about other stuff too. What do we even talk about? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I guess we'll talk about apples and
one thing before we dive in, if we can, if I can ask. So how many trees do you have on this orchard?
Right now I think there's I call it a small orchard, but it's there's about 19 producing trees. And another 5 or so that are really too young to produce that the previous owner had planted maybe a year or 2 ago.
800 pounds from 19 trees?
Yeah.
My goodness. Woo.
And that's after thinning them.
Yeah.
And I can tell you for a fact, we moved up here slowly over a period of months. And so we knew the trees had to be taken care of and that they had to be thinned. So normally something like this, you do like maybe a tree or 2 a day, right? And then spend 2 weeks getting it all done. Well, we had 2 days to do it. Mm-hmm. And so we went through all 19 trees and just thinned it out as best as we could. And then they don't have a green bucket pickup where we live. So you have to take all of the yard stuff to the actual dump.
Mhm.
So we loaded it up in my husband's truck, and it was about 90 degrees that day. We were doing
Yeah.
this, and we had to dump it, and we didn't know anything about how the dump worked or however. I kind of figured, oh, we'll dump it and we can walk away, right? Well, no, that's not how it works. You dump it, then you have to sweep it underneath this little thing into a larger crevasse. And
Oh
it
yeah.
ended up, we had over 600 pounds of apples that,
And they charge you by the pound, don't they?
and they charge you by the pound. And
Yeah.
we've, after we did, and we had to sweep this thing in this like 90 degrees, and we had to get it up and out. And anyway, by the end of that day, I just looked at my husband and just said, calories don't count today at all. Not at all.
Yeah. You're earning whatever you want to
We just
treat yourself.
burned everything.
Pick up some ice cream on the way home or something.
Oh yeah, I think we had pizza and ice cream. So
Nice.
yeah, we went whole hog.
Yeah. Nice.
I need to have me one of those days so I can have an excuse to do what I'm doing anyway, which is just eat stuff that I want to eat. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really that's a lot of that's interesting to me that your dump operates like that, because like where I live, we just dump it, and then like a bulldozer thing will come later and like push everything off a hill kind of thing.
You'd think that.
Yeah.
You'd think that.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I thought, but it's fortunately the dump's not that, it's only like 2 miles away from the house, so it's not a tragedy.
Mhm.
But they also have regular recycling there, so if you turn right, it's regular recycling. If you go forward, it's like yard waste and then regular garbage, which is what they weigh and you have to pay for. But yeah, it was quite an endeavor. I mean, he went over there today with just, normal weeds and stuff. And it was, compared to what we had to deal with, it was so easy. He could do it by himself. Normally I'm with him, but he was like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be like relaxing after doing all the crazy stuff. And you can,
Yeah,
only 2
but
miles
I
away is
think,
kind of convenient.
now once we get settled here, we're going to get some help for that. It's just that we're so new. We don't know people yet, who to hire, who to,
Yeah. That's like a high school boy job, like freshman or whatever, summer job or something.
Yeah, the neighbor kid will do it,
Well,
Yeah.
I've already asked that, but their neighbor kids they're booked up.
They're too busy on their phones and they're,
Well, I think one is a wrestler, a high school wrestler, so he's like traveling all the time, and then I think the girl is going to be off to college soon, and so no,
Yeah.
they are not available.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I remember high school just doing sports and traveling every weekend, and yeah, I'm not super. I feel like it's interesting. Some parents will do it, and some kids are into it. But if there was another generation, I'd be like, I think we'll skip that for this generation. We're not going to travel every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump in and take a look at these campaigns. Hey, it went up. That I don't think that was necessarily the NOOGE either, because we haven't even talked about your campaign yet. People can't be buying blind. But I think your strategy, Madeline, of like reaching out kind of blindly to whoever who will listen. Like, how many promo streams have you done over the course of how long? How long has the campaign been going? Was it a 60-day campaign?
We launched this morning at 11.
Oh, okay. And but you have your mailing list because it's doing great, obviously. So is your mailing list a big part of the success?
I have a mailing list. I use Backer Kit Launch, which is extremely effective in reaching out to people. For those of you out there who don't know what Backer Kit Launch is, what you do is you sign up and they aggregate all of the backers, their emails from all of your previous campaigns, whether it be Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever it is, so you can send mass emails to them. And
Cool.
They're usually pretty short and sweet. And I would always advise not to, overstay your welcome with emails with people. But yeah, it's very effective, and they even give you little guidelines to help you out, to help you craft the letter. But I generally keep it pretty simple, and send maybe 4 or 5 throughout the campaign.
Yeah, cool. How many are on the list for you total? Is it like 5,000 or 1,000 or?
My
Uh,
guess is 600 or 700. Since you got to guess per, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we'll do a bet.
it's about 4,000.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good number. Mine's is about yeah, email lists are there's an argument that they could be the most important thing or whatever, I guess. And the alternatives are like build a YouTube channel, which only some people can do that because of either their lifestyle and their availability and their personality even. But building a YouTube channel works to to like reach an audience if you're able to do that. But the other one is building a mailing list, and it can be like over the course of years, kind of, in multiple books. You can kind of
Yeah,
build
I
it.
actually have multiple lists.
Yeah.
I have a MailChimp list, which is what I would call in sales terms is my very narrow sales funnel. These are the people who I reach out to, who I'm like, 60 to 80% sure that they're going to back something.
Yeah.
And then I use also BackerKit, and yes, there is some overlap between the two. And then I have additional email lists. So I'm probably reaching probably closer to around maybe 6 to 8,000.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are good numbers. I think my mailing list for comparison is 1,200, and it's like that's like middle of the road. It'd be nice if it was bigger, but that's big enough. I need to re-aggregate because I've had some new campaigns, and I was doing what BackerKit does, just kind of manually taking from the spreadsheet the emails and putting them into a email octopuses like Mailchimp that I use, and that goes into contact.
Yeah, and it does take time. I mean, I don't advertise to reach out to bring people in. I know other creators do, and that's great because, well, they just do it better than I do.
Yeah, because you can offer like exclusives or a
Yeah,
free preview or something like that.
yeah. I mean,
And
I've done
then
a couple of viral marketing campaigns, but that really hasn't paid off that well. But it was interesting to do.
yeah, it's good to do so you
You
feel like
learn.
you
You
did
just
it. You
learn
don't
from
have
it.
FOMO then. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn from it.
Lead
Yeah. The
magnets
other
have to be
thing
super valuable these days, like which is what you were talking about with like free preview offer and that kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
these days,
Mhm.
lead magnets have to be super valuable for them to really attract people. So like
yeah.
Absolutely.
like I gave 7 pages for free just on the campaign, so like people can get a taste. That's not enough like, for a lead magnet these days. Like it have to be like
No.
a full
That's good
issue.
for a sales pitch, but not to like pull them in or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just taking
Cool.
notes, by the way, because
I know it's good. Madeline
I'm newer.
knows more than us with FOMO and everything.
You may not know this either, that I've actually written a book on Kickstarter crowdfunding. It's
Oh,
called
yeah.
Kickstarter for the Independent Creator.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I wrote it a while ago. It's still relevant in that the basic strategies still work, but it hasn't been updated in a number of years. So there's been changes. All platforms evolve.
Yeah.
Some of the references are outdated, and things like that, but the basic strategies are the same. I wrote it at a time when there was basically nothing out there for independent creators.
Yeah. That's great.
That was basically it's like a field guide, so you can sit down and read it and not be overwhelmed, and that was my point.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, for a lot of people. Yeah, I
I
wonder
wrote it
if
down.
yeah.
I used to
Madeline,
teach crowdfunding. I used to
do
have
you have
classes, so yeah.
Yeah, because now there is, I guess, a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's like on YouTube or whatever. But
Mhm.
I was just thinking the book is still kind of fun and novel. Can you get it in print like Amazon
Oh yeah,
KDP
yeah, it's
or
on Amazon. Yeah, it's
cool?
on
Sounds
Amazon.
cool.
But yeah, that's the only caveat I say is that some of the reference material and the things I talk about in Kickstarter are they're outdated, but the strategies are still.
Yeah, that's almost, that's not a negative at all, because it's kind of fun to interactive translate it in your head or as you read or whatever to apply it. If you have that link, you could post that in the private chat too, and I'll
Oh, okay.
put it down.
I'll go grab that from somewhere.
Yeah, well, you grab that. That's fun. Yeah, and it is fun talking to you guys about, like, because and yeah, we can get more into it, but the word on the street is that this is in my zone or whatever, is crowdfunding is down slightly, especially from like pandemic or whatever, but quality is up, and so we're all kind of wondering what happens, or like some
quality
people
of the
wash out,
books?
or yeah, the quality of the books is going up.
Oh, really?
And the funding is going slightly down.
Hmm.
And it might, correct one way or the other. I don't know what'll happen really, but
I think crowdfunding is becoming more difficult for those who are entering it for the first time.
yeah.
And the bar has been raised in such a way, because I started crowdfunding like in 2013, 2014. So I've been doing it for a while, and made plenty of mistakes like everybody else. My first campaign failed spectacularly, like they usually do.
Yeah, mine did too. And it was around 2016 or 2015.
Yeah, I think it was 2015 for me, and I was like in high school, and I just gave up for 10 years. So now here I am again.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have kept going like you, and learned instead of just like giving up and thinking that it was the problem and maybe not stuff I was doing in ways that, tricks.
No, it's hard. I remember years ago, the first edition because I had 2 editions of the Kickstarter book. Make sure you get the one with the green cover. That's the second edition. It was a Friday night. He came and bought the book at my table. He read it. He came back to my table and said, "I will never crowdfund ever. I will never do this." And I said, that was the best spent $10 you ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with not crowdfunding. You can self-fund. You can do other things. You can, but it takes a lot to crowdfund. It is a second full-time job, and that's how I treat it. And I think that's how everyone should treat it. That it's your second full-time job, and it starts about 3 months before you launch the campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, because you can say like the basics, and they're so useful. And like Jolly, he was in the chat earlier. He tweets out marketing advice, and he works marketing, I think, in his day job, so he applies it to crowdfunding. And yeah, I think everyone says, start 3 months before you launch, and blah blah blah. There's a few.
Yeah, Jolly's a great guy. Actually, he put out a piece of advice recently that was, if you don't have 300 to 400 people on your mailing list, then you're not going to hit 100 backers. And I was like, oh shoot, I only had 75 people. Maybe.
Yeah, there is math for like that. Yeah, well, even Madeline, like if it's like 8,000 or 9,000 on the mailing lists, all aggregated together. Yeah, and then like I don't know if it ends up being 1,000 backers is obviously pretty great. Like maybe it goes higher.
Yeah, it also depends on what I'm doing. The things like Pikes Peak, the first 2 issues, and the original volume 2 got up to about close to 1,000 backers by the end. The hardback editions didn't, and I didn't expect them to, because at that point I'm selling to people, to fans who probably already have most of the material.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the new story that I add into the hardback, and make it all pretty and has foil and all sorts of nice stuff to it. That they're okay with what they have, and so it's really for those who want the special editions. Yeah.
Yeah. Not
And
to
I
pick your
guess
brain. Oh, sorry. Go.
I'm sorry. I guess at this point, do you want me to tell people what Boston Metaphysical
Yeah,
is about?
go ahead and give us the pitch. I'm curious too about the timeline. So like, was number one like 5 years ago or 2 years ago or?
Well, there's a story there, but I'll start. The overall premise of Boston Metaphysical Society is about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. We started with Volume 1, which contained our original 6-issue miniseries. Volume 2 contains our 4 standalone sequels. The art for Volume 1 was by Emily Hugh. The art for Volume 2 is by Gwen Tavares. And then what will eventually be what you're looking at, Volume 3, Mystery at Pikes Peak. We did the first 2 issues a couple of years ago. And unfortunately, things didn't work out with the artist for issues 1 and 2. And I had to let her go. And I probably waited too long to do that. But I did find Danny Rivera, and she picked up the reins and did issues 3 and 4 and did a marvelous job. The main covers are done by Angela Wu, and the variants are done by Yishan Lee and Gwen Tavares.
Cool.
So
and look at this real quick. This is 707 backed. That's the highest I've ever seen. I've seen 500. I think mine's at like 130. But I like that. I like looking at people's what they've backed, and that. Yeah, obviously the higher the better. Even just having like 10 is nice. So it's crazy you have 700. That's kind of fun.
Well, like I said, I've been doing this since like 2013. So
yeah, and you wrote a book on it. So of course, yeah, like it goes to like kind of keeping your finger on the pulse a little bit. And are you aware of like differences between Kickstarter and Indiegogo? Is there anything like?
Yes. I did the Indiegogo in demand many years ago after I finished a campaign, and found the back end so onerous that I would never go back. It just made me crazy, and it wasn't worth the effort. And at this point, I like, it ends at 30. I do late pledges, which have been great on Kickstarter, but I don't do any additional advertising. I may mention it in the newsletter or whatever in passing, but I don't push it.
Yeah.
Because I have to move on.
Yeah, and it'll trickle in. Oh, you know what we were talking about, like basics? One of the basics is a business plan, which is simpler than people think, is like it's the amount of money that you need coming in versus how much money is going to be going out via expenses for like printing and shipping and stuff.
Yes, a budget.
You'd be so surprised how many people don't do that when they get into crowdfunding, and it's frustrating.
Wait, like they don't even do the math? What?
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of, I'm like, oh my God, you guys just do math. Math, it's called math.
You have to do the math. But what's even scarier sometimes is people do well, moderately well, but then they don't budget their stretch goals.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to budget your stretch goals, because man, can that bite you in the ass.
Yeah, because that's like a first kind of rookie mistake, is you get so excited about having a pretty successful campaign that you kind of overpromise the stretch goals and kind of eat all your profits away. Let me ask you too. So yeah, like having it not work out with the artist, having to pivot to another artist, has that happened before, or was that the first time? Because that is another kind of common thing. It's can be very traumatic in a way, but
that was actually the first time.
Okay. Yeah, I know. The one thing I know about that is like it's best, obviously, the earlier the better, that you can like weed out if it's going to work, long term. And yeah, the worst case scenario would be, and you can't control everything, but yes, you're always just like, as if it happens way into the project or whatever. But yeah, it's like a funny quality in artists is like, obviously how good they draw is important, but yeah, they're like, their ability to like respond to emails almost is like kind of high, I think, for when you're looking for an artist.
Yeah, I did keep the same colorist on board for continuity. And yeah, this is Danny Rivera's work for issues 3 and 4.
This is the new artist. Yeah.
This is the new artist. She did a marvelous job. So I was.
It looks great.
Very pleased.
Cool.
And we have early birds. So if you get on it in the next couple days, price point's pretty good. So
Cool. There's pros and cons to that, but obviously you think it's worth it because I've noticed sometimes I feel like, oh, it's like when the early bird deadline ends, then like prices go up a little bit, and then I'm like, is anyone gonna back anymore, or do the
yeah, they do. But there's a drop off. I mean, there's definitely a drop off.
But you're trying to get as many as early as possible, anyways. Like a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, it's sort of like getting, the running leap.
Yeah.
So you can kind of sail over the abyss.
Yeah, and that goes well with like the 3-month build up in the mailing list. If everyone knows, they all have access to it. As opposed to there's like a thing with crowdfunding is just like the mental health of the dopamine spikes and the mid campaign doldrums when it slows down and how
And
inevitably
we all go through it.
Yeah.
It could be. It doesn't matter how big your campaign is. Everybody goes with it, and goes through it, and it's a matter of degree.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it can be a really successful one. You're still going to be depressed in the middle and wondering how to go about it.
I'm sorry, Nick. You said something.
Oh yeah. I was gonna pretend that I was immune to it, and you made me feel better about not being immune to it.
You're not.
Yeah.
I'm not. Nobody is.
Yeah. And I still don't know I don't know how exactly you deal with it other than, but that is the thing is like, there's alternatives. I've kind of tried both where I did one campaign where I didn't do a huge lead up. I did like a more or less a blind launch. And so it had a kind of slow beginning, but it was a very constant trickle the whole way through. And it was actually sort of similar at the end. But if I could choose, I feel like it's always better to go for the big beginning and the marketing and build it up. But yeah, I was wondering if going slow, but even that in its own way will mess with your head because you'll look at the totals. You're like, oh, we're halfway through and we're not as high as we were on day one of like earlier campaigns or whatever. So those are the games you play with yourself in your head. Speaking of math, actually, Madeline, do you like keep a spreadsheet of how good the campaigns do via how many weeks, or BackerKit might do that for you?
BackerKit, you can do it on BackerKit. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be useful. I was wondering.
They have the graphs. They have everything there. You can generate a lot of different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Madeline, are you the writer on this one?
I am the writer for everything.
Cool. And it's 15 created. So you have multiple series. This is the latest one. Is that correct?
This is because we started out with single issues with the original 6-issue miniseries before we went to trade. I also did an audio drama based in this universe.
Cool.
And then we did trades. And then we did hardbacks and special edition trades. So yeah, we did a bunch of different things. Plus, I have a new series out called Morgana Pendragon, which was just finished fulfillment a few weeks ago.
Cool.
So yeah, managing it's been a challenging thing managing multiple series. I'm not sure how other people do it.
Yeah, or is that your first time of them overlapping, doing two at once?
Yeah.
Hey, look at, by the way, it hit 200 or past 200.
Yes,
That's always a fun like little dopamine spike there to see the digits go up.
It's always fun to watch
round numbers.
It's fun to watch the digits on other people's too. It's still exciting to watch.
I know. I'm getting a little boost from it. Yeah, this is the difference between Indiegogo and Kickstarter is Kickstarter updates automatically. Indiegogo you have to refresh to see. And so we would play this game if you're promoting an Indiegogo campaign, you're like, all right, chat, I'm going to update it in like 1 minute and we're going to see. But if it doesn't go up, then somewhere in the world a puppy died. So it has to go up.
Oh no.
Yes, but yeah, it looks great, and that's a lot of fun. Yeah, you're an old veteran at it, which is awesome, and it shows. Like everything is so well put together. It looks really cool. I'm glad that you reached out, so me and Nick both can chat with you. Alex is in the chat. Alex he's a mod for my channel, and he's a mod for Creative Block, and he's a creative guy too. He's a good guy.
Yeah, no, he is right that yeah, there's a lot of people entering, and they don't necessarily they aren't necessarily bringing their A game.
Yeah.
They need to learn. They need to learn the lessons that a lot of us learned,
Yeah.
a long
Yeah.
time.
If it's a first campaign, it's almost, yeah, like the
It's
percentage of,
hard. It's
yeah.
really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can use
That,
mine
and
as the example. The first
oh, is yours a
campaign. We'll
first? Well,
compare.
I guess
Oh
not
yeah.
including, yeah, your 10 years ago. But yeah,
Oh
so
yeah.
yours looks great too, Nick. I want, it's funny. I
No, it's
want to call
cool.
you Roy. I'm like,
Call me
yeah,
whatever you like. I'm okay
yeah.
with Roy.
It's a
I mean,
self-insert comic actually, and your name is
Hey, but you
Roy.
made your goal, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. That's
I'm
good. And
excited learning from
this
you.
is a single issue, so, or issue one, so you'll be able to build on it, you know.
That was the whole idea. Not to. I'll get into all that when it's we're getting into mine and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think it might be time to pivot, and
Mhm.
we can do a quick check-in at the end with Madeline's.
Yeah,
Um,
let's talk about Nick.
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I was just gonna say we were gonna do. We were gonna wait till we had 4 issues done. It's me and my brother are financing together, and it made him feel better to do campaigns leading up to the big 4 issue campaign. So the idea was, we'll learn along the way. We'll get a lit. Like, I never thought our first campaign is gonna make us a bunch of money or anything. It was more like we'll get some people interested and we'll get a little bit of what we've spent back so that we're not spending so much more on all 4 issues going to the we're going to do a trade paperback with the 4th issue, which I was going to ask, have you ever thought about that where you've gone, here's the issues and then here's the trade on a separate campaign? Have you ever done it where it's on the same campaign, you could do a trade as well, or anything like that?
Madeline, do you
Yeah,
want to
sorry.
answer
Do you
that?
mean
I might have an answer
a
too.
trade with the single issues?
Well, yeah, so like it's just on the same campaign, a trade paperback is available along.
So, like
the issue.
hypothetically, for your issue 4, it would be issue 4 is debuting, and you would be selling issue 1, 2, 3, 4 singles and 1, 2, 3, 4 collected. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that on my next book. Is like the trade. It gets to the trade level, so I'm gonna try it and I'll report back. So I don't know, but it's gonna
Cool.
be, yeah. You can buy. I do double issues, and there's 3 that make a trade, so you can
I
get
guess
1, 2, and 3 and the trade.
I wouldn't do it that way.
Yeah.
What you can do is, you can think about this, is focus on the Kickstarter being for the trade. And then as the add-ons, you can say, hey, if you like single issues and these all have different covers, and you can add that to the add-on. So if people have a choice.
Yeah,
But
that's nice.
for me, I'm wondering to me, it's a marketing problem.
Yeah, you got to focus or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it is true, like if your pitch has the word "or" in it, is weird, Like,
Yeah, and it would confuse me. I know if I saw that either or, and it's like, well, okay, why, if I can get the trade, why would I want to get the single issues? And most people will want to get the trade and not the single issues. But if you want to get some money in the till to help you with issue 4, then you do issues 1 through 4. As you can see, I'm doing issues 1 through 4. And printing just the last 2, 3 and 4. This Kickstarter I'm doing is specifically to print issues 3 and 4 of Mystery Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
I will.
And then you're gonna do your trade later.
I will do a trade later, and I will probably do a hardback and a softback, so people have that option if they want. But also, my trade will offer something different, something special. Almost all my trades have an additional 10-page story that's unique to that trade. It will have pinup art. It will have In volume 1, special edition hardback, it has some of Granville, who's our genius scientist. I have paid an artist to draw, cool steampunk diagrams of like something that came out of his workshop as part of,
cool.
something
so like extra
special
content
that is unique for your universe.
Yeah, I do like that trades, even like with mainstream comics, trades will have a little bonus content at the end.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's like character designs or like
even script, even just showing
yeah.
the script. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. No, that's a great piece of advice, actually. Thank you for that. I didn't, I don't want to take all of your all of your tips and tricks on stream in front of everyone, but it's really really helpful.
It's good for anyone listening too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And this is a little bit what this is about. Beyond promo, I'm interested.
That's a nice cover.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is sweet.
That's Todd Beats. He's done like Battle Beast, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive cover. Like he did that one, which was like one of my favorite covers that he did. It was like close-up damage on Battle Beast it was like foil, like all the blood on his face was all foil, which was really cool.
Cool. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So tell us like the kind of story pitch for Roy Beckwith.
So Roy Beckwith is a cavalry veteran who did a lot of things he's not proud of while he was working for the cavalry, involving doing horrible things to some Native Americans, the Yavapai and Tonto Indian tribes specifically. They were involved in a real life event called Exodus Day, where the cavalry, after winning the war, like moved them to a reservation and trampled them with horses, and a lot of them drowned in the icy lake, and it was just awful. And Roy was there for that, taking orders, and he's kind of become, a shadow of himself, and is trying to forget everything he did by smoking opium and, doing things he shouldn't be doing. And basically someone comes back for revenge. One of the Yavapai natives comes back for revenge. And this kind of starts his journey toward redemption. And he's going to have to decide, is it worth trying to do good, or should he just continue doubling down? And Zita Witch has been brought back from the dead, and she's looking to, take her vengeance on innocent people in a town called Claystown. And, I guess you could say the question is, what's Roy to do about that? Is he going to let her do it, or,
because he's like, on the one hand, I feel sorry for you for what happened to you, but on the other hand, you can't just pay it forward like that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like these people technically had nothing to do with it, but from her point of view, she wants vengeance, and she's willing to take it on innocent people. Yeah. So it's kind of a cool, but what I really like is the moral quandaries in writing is,
that sounds awesome.
And making things complex. So yeah, that's kind of the story there. And it's over 64 issues, but the Yazito Witch is only the first 8 issues, and it's a little ambitious, but I've been planning this for 10 years. So
okay, so that was what I kind of ask you. So you did a campaign, it failed, and you quote unquote gave up for 10 years, but you were just writing for those 10 years, so you didn't really give up.
Sort of. So yeah, a little bit. So I was prideful, and I thought, oh, I'm just bigger than comic books. I'm gonna go and do movies, and that'll, that's what I'm meant for. I'm just meant for big things. And I did some short films. Pretty proud of some of them. Like I think they turned out well, but at a certain point I realized, man, actually, you know what? I just was not writing as well as I could have. and also not marketing the campaign. There's a lot of things that I did. It wasn't just the comic book medium or the funding market or whatever it was. And I had been writing, or I had this screenplay that was never going to get funded because it was, Pirates of the Caribbean like level production for Roy Beckwith. And so I just wanted it to come to life. I really loved the story. Like I said, I thought of the character 10 years ago and have written a few screenplays, different iterations, but I decided to kind of come back to my roots kind of after I was in the hospital for a few days with mono, and they gave me antibiotics because they didn't know what I had. And I guess that makes it worse. So I thought I was dying. So kind of came back from that. And I thought, man, I spent like 10 years of my life going from like comics to movies to music videos to my own music to plays and just back like jumping all over. Like I should just spend a season where I started and just do comic books for 10 years. So that's kind of what I'm doing with Roy Beckwith here. So
cool. Yeah, that's fun. That's a cool little meta origin story. And then the lore, the personal lore and the book sounds good. That pitch is really cool. Sounds like it could be like a real movie, which is good. That's fun.
Yeah, thank you. The artist is Jarrett Katz, and Fabi Marquez does colors. And boy, I'm really impressed with them. And obviously, once you get colors on it, it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, so
how did you meet your artist?
Yeah, so in 2023, I was going to try and pitch it to Image. Well, we did pitch to Image. In hindsight, they probably didn't pick it up because it was a big commitment. But so Jarrett was on Upwork, and I had searched for weeks and weeks because I didn't know a lot of comic book artists personally or anything. And I wasn't a social media. I'm still totally, I don't like social media very much. Or I like it a little bit now. Like I like X, and I like talking to all of the indie creators in my audience.
I think
and stuff.
it's kind of healthy to not like it. I think.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't love it. So I was just not on social media. So I was on Upwork, and I found him after weeks. And so he did the pitch. That first cover you see on the top, beneath it, it says, spoiler, this is for issue 8. And that's because the 5 pages we did was from that issue. And so to pitch to Image, you do 5 pages and a cover. So this was that cover, but we know it's going to be, we know we're going to use it for issue 8. Cool. So he did this, back in 2024 is when he did the cover, but he finished the 5 pages at the Christmas time in 2023. So that's how I met him. And then Fabi, she was on X, and I was looking for colorists again, just all over the place, and reached out, and and she's great. She's just got a series for New Mutants. She's coloring, which is great for her.
Yeah, the coloring is awesome. Yeah, the art's awesome. The pitch is great. Looks like a lot of fun. I think both these I'm gonna have to back myself. I just want to continue to network with you guys a little bit too.
Yeah, I was trying to back yours. I didn't realize it was on Indiegogo. So I might have to make an account there.
If you want to grab it. That one's fulfilling really soon. So you'd have the book kind of within a month or so. We're going to order prints in like a week, I think. We're waiting for the Kickstarter money. It's coming pretty soon. And that's a long one too, because I'm just the writer on that one, but it's my buddy. But maybe we've been working on it almost 4 years. It's 240 pages total between 2 volumes.
Wow. Yeah.
It just finished. I was pitching it like Alex knows. This is almost like, this is maybe a bad pitch, but it was a joke pitch. But my joke pitch is, it's a complete story. Like here's the one thing I got for you. It's complete.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, all of the other stuff that's going to make it really hard to execute. Even, but it's complete though. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, how many stories? Imagine how many aren't complete. Like,
Yeah.
for even, I mean, not to pick on it, but Roy Beckwith, not complete right now. What
Yeah.
can you say?
Issue 1, you're getting in at the very start.
And that is fun. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, so what was this, a 30-day campaign or 60-day or?
Yeah, it's a 30-day campaign.
Cool.
So yeah, and hit the goal, which is all.
Yeah. And it always gets a good boost at the end. And this one does seem like the more eyes you get on it, and even like Madeline, this is like with her, with all of us, is you want people coming back. So the quality, it's like the word of mouth helps and the repeat customers. And Madeline's obviously been able to do that. So the quality is really high. That's true. And feels like that's with this too. This might be a similar thing where good quality. So you'll be able to kind of build it. I think it is a good plan too, that there's a thing where when you make a decision in life, like wholeheartedly, this is from like woo woo self-help stuff, but I'm trying to think what book it's from. It's from The Alchemist, I think. But it's like, if you make the decision wholeheartedly, then the universe will realign to help you. But you have to really make the decision. And that means like a real commitment. And like you're saying, it is a real commitment to be like, all right, 10 years, 64 issues, and then we'll come up for air and see where we're at or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, I love comic books, and if I just decide to continue doing that, then awesome. I do love storytelling in all mediums. So, I mean, if I end up moving on after the 10 years to something else, not that because I don't think that movies and comic books, like, I think they're just different mediums. I don't think that one's better than the other, but it'd be cool to be able to, kind of dip into different mediums. But whatever happens, 10 years I'm doing comic books, I decided. And
yeah, that's cool. And yeah, like I feel a little bit like that too. I'd like to do animation, maybe movies, maybe video games, if I could. We'll see.
I was gonna ask, the animation in your trailer, who was that?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but that's like, it's still not TV quality. But me and Jared, we kind of did that. And so yeah, he did that too. I did the main guy talking, and he did the really cool insert shots. So we're doing another short cartoon now, and it's more, that'll be a little bit of like throwing our hat in the ring for YouTube, see if we can get a little short to get like more views, because sometimes full animation will get decent views, but it's not like you can still find a business plan that works for it. I don't even know, but we're just kind of testing waters a little bit. We're trying to make it professional. We'll see. Jared's a musician too, so he's got a good set of skills to kind of help with it. Yeah. All right. So everyone in the chat, if anyone watching this later, definitely Roy Beckwith, Cursed Continent, issue number 1. You heard the pitch on the video, and yeah, give it a shot. It looks great. And Nick sounds like, is really committed, which is awesome. I'm going to pivot back real quick to Madeline. And Madeline, do we even get to do like a more of a story style pitch with this? We can do that. And I want to ask you a little bit about your writing history too. We can go a little over an hour. If you guys don't mind too.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As far as my writing history, I have an MFA in screenwriting from UCLA. So yeah, I have a screenwriting background.
Okay.
Boston Metaphysical began life as a TV pilot, and it was recommended. It went the rounds. This was a long time ago, and was generally liked, but didn't, find a home. And also, steampunk back then was not, it was expensive. People didn't understand it. But it was suggested I turn it into a graphic novel, then to sell it back to Hollywood. But a funny thing happened in this journey, in that I discovered I really loved writing comics and the independent creator community. So I stayed.
Yeah. Cool. That's fun. Yeah. I think a lot of people have, the intro is like screenwriting almost. That's true for me too. But yeah, just in my 20s, I wrote some screenplays. That was a little bit of my into writing comics. I was more daydreaming about movies and then pivoting to comics. And then there is like, once you get really into comics, it is a little bit of transition to really embrace the comic medium where it's not necessarily just adapting a movie screenplay or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a different medium. There are similarities, but it's definitely different.
Yeah. But that's fun. Yeah. So in this, is it the full thing? Is the arc is 4? Is it going to go longer, or is it the full story is 4?
This is, well, each volume is a complete story that is open-ended enough to move us forward, to another storyline. So yes, there will be another storyline that leads into another series at the end of issue 4 here. But
Cool.
yeah, all the main questions and mysteries are answered, but there's another one there, so we can keep going.
Cool. Yeah. Speaking of comic medium versus movie medium, that's a little bit more of a comic thing that I love, is where the stories can be more compact and leading into the next one, like a little more episodic. And I guess, comparable to like a TV show, but that it's almost like two kinds of addiction. I've thought of as like, with a story, there's the kind of addiction where it's a long story and you're like, I got to know what happens. Like maybe Game of Thrones at its peak would be kind of like that. And then there's like Columbo addiction or something where you're like, oh, that was really good and it's over. I want another one. And just like, and I like both, but I've been trying the second one more lately with like shorter stories, episodic. Try and get the full course meal just in that.
Yeah, well, I've done both. I mean, I started with a 6-issue miniseries, which I actually don't recommend to someone who's new, who's writing their first comic.
Yeah.
I could have chosen better, but that's what I did. So there you go. The next 4 issues are actually standalone. They are everything that's in volume 2 are 4 standalone stories. They were all one-shots. They were kickstarted as one-shots, and then I put them all into volume 2. And then I decided to go back to the series format just because I wanted to tell a bigger story for Mystery at Pikes Peak. And I will stay with that for the next series for Boston Metaphysical, though that may change for my other series may go different ways. So it depends on the story I want to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun to do both, really. And if you've done one, then you kind of want to do the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I have the story pulled up here. I've been reading it. It's like, yeah, it sounds awesome. Tesla's in it. And you mentioned it's steampunk.
It's more steampunk-ish.
Okay.
It does have some steampunk elements that are just naturally occurring in the aesthetic and some of the science. And actually, I try to make the science accurate whenever I can in the story.
Yeah.
But that isn't always possible.
Yeah.
And I've also changed history. It's grounded in American history, but I've changed it. It is an alternate history.
Yeah. And that's fun too, or like better almost, or I don't know. The alt history fiction is really fun. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I noticed too. Yeah, look, it keeps going up. 204. Did you say you launched today, or did you launch yesterday?
I launched this morning at around 11 o'clock.
Okay, so it is your launch day, so that's kind of fun. So
yeah, it's my launch day. Yeah,
part of your launch tour.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So why don't you give a kind of closing pitch to anyone listening, and maybe we'll kind of wrap up ish here in the next few minutes, I think. Probably.
Sure. Well, if you like steampunk, alternate history, gas lamp stories, science with a twist, then with mysteries, Boston Metaphysical is your jibe.
Yeah. It looks awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to look at both of these more, but yeah, this is great. And yeah, nice to meet both of you.
And nice to meet you, Nick.
Yeah, nice to meet both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
thanks
always
for
fun being on a new show because then you have a lot of fun getting to know each other.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say we can possibly stream again. Like, let's just stay in touch, especially like if, uh, if it's later in the campaign or just a future book or whatever. It's good to check in. And I always would like to talk more about like even just writing process, storytelling type stuff.
That's the stuff
Um,
that gets me going in a conversation, 100%.
yeah,
Other
But
than apples and apple orchards.
yes,
yeah, and we can talk about that too. But yeah. I was gonna tell you, I have a little side hustle just as I'll try and write short stories once in a while, and if I get enough of them, I'll try and do a short story collection. And I have one short story idea, and the idea was Johnny Appleseed 3000, and it was like cyberpunk Johnny Appleseed, and I was like, but I don't know what that entails, so I was thinking about that, and then I did a little live stream and brainstorm with the chat, and the chat's like, did you know apple seeds are like they have some arsenic in them? I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if it's cyberpunk, there's like an apple orchard that's all glass, and it's like this evil robot, and then there's like an organic apple orchard that's. But I don't even. I'm still kind of trying to think through it, so that's why I like just talking about apples. If anyone wants to talk apples, I'll see if anything comes up for my Johnny Appleseed idea. But one thing I was thinking is like, like an untended orchard. This came up from talking to you, Madeline, but an untended orchard like could become a post-apocalyptic wasteland pretty quickly without you like knowing it. And that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it could definitely be an analogy for a post-apocalyptic wasteland because there's a tree down the street from me that looks just like that.
Yeah. Those poor, you kind of feel sorry for it, but it's just living its best life in its own way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
if you don't
Yeah,
trim grapes,
when I live, or sorry, what were you gonna say, Nick?
if you don't trim grapes, because I have grapes, if you don't trim those and like tend them, like they will go wild. It'll be a giant bush covering like the whole one side of your house, and it can get really bad. So
Just like bursting rotten grapes all over your house, bombarding your house.
Yeah, and you have to actually, it's really tough because you have to actually like take out individual grapes in a bunch. And that can be really tedious because you're trying to make room for the other ones. Like Madeline said, it's with.
Oh, you have to thin the grapes?
Yeah, you have to thin the grapes. So like kind of similar things can happen. Like with, I think you were talking about the cherry trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, like similar thing will happen where it can
rot,
yeah. Or like for me out here in Utah, we have earwigs. I don't know what they're actually
called.
Oh,
I hate those.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
So they'll hide in there. So you have to tend them for sure. I used to have 2 plants. I have 1 now. I got rid of the other one.
Yeah, because it's like too much to deal with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that that kind of reminds me of like these like unseen cultures of like biology or whatever. But in the town I live in, there's the Olympic Game Farm, which is sort of like a zoo, but a little different, little mini safari thing or whatever. I guess it's a retired animal training facility for Walt Disney from the 50s, where they like trained animals for Disney movies. And then now it's just become like a tourist attraction around here. But one of the things you do is you drive around, there's buffalo everywhere, and you can buy old bread before you go, and you throw bread to the buffalo and they'll eat it, or they'll come into your car and lick your windshield and you can feed them by hand even. It's kind of cool. So everyone's got bread. And the fact everyone has bread in their car, there's all these cars driving around, it's just become the ultimate hangout for bald eagles, which bald eagles are not on the endangered species list, I'm pretty sure. Like I think people
they're not.
Yeah, no. People think that, but they're not. It's just that they're America's main animal or whatever. So they're everywhere up here, but they all hang out at the game farm, and it's kind of funny that it's like the nightclub for them. They like wake up in the morning and they're like, "You going to the game farm?" Like, "Yeah, I'm going to the game farm," because they can pick up all the extra bread, and they'll kind of fight over it, and it's a pretty crazy sight. Like, so this is not an attraction of the game farm. They're trying to sell buffalo, and they have some bears and stuff, and yeah, you can see all that. It's cool, but the real attraction is just the wild bald eagles, because there'll be like 30 of them fighting over like a little town with their fighting over this loaf of bread or whatever that you can drive by, and they're huge when you get close. It's kind of
cool. They are scavengers, so
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
irony
Oh,
is that it's this very majestic looking bird and it's just a scavenger.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so funny how it doesn't match up with how it looks, kind of.
Hmm.
I'm just laughing to myself, thinking like the owners, like people come up to him. I hear you got like bald eagles. Then they're like, no, we don't have bald eagle. They're
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
but the buffaloes is what you want. Okay, it's the buffalo.
yeah.
They're just upset that people are coming for the bald eagles.
I know. That's my thing. I'm that guy. I'm like, I'm here for the Eagles. They're like, what? We don't have an Eagle thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going home then. But yeah. Cool. Yeah, but yeah, good talking to you guys. And chat, thanks for being here. We got 10 people watching right now. Thank you everyone for tuning
Thank
in.
you everyone for watching, and thank you Per and Nick, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
Thank
fun.
you,
Look at
guys.
this. Yeah, great launch day, Madeline. That's fun. And yeah, people keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on Twitter too. And if you see this video later, check both these creators out. And yeah, so for outros, I still am kind of behind the times, and I just click the button. So I'm going to click the button here. And oh, real quick, I got to read this. Cole, Johnny Appleseed was a Swedenborgian missionary. I went to the university, started the Swedenborgs. They have a museum. That's cool. Yeah, I watched like one YouTube video on him, and it sounded like he was an entrepreneur kind of. He set up like 7 orchards all out throughout New England or whatever. But mixed with the homeless guy. He's like a homeless guy wandering. Cool. All right, I'm gonna click the button, and guys, hang out for just a